Hi. Hi, YouTube family. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, I'm a bit late in here. Yeah, I'm a bit late in here. Sorry about that, guys. How's your day going so far? Hope your day is going well. Yeah, this is actually my first live on YouTube, and I'm very excited. I'm very excited. I hope your morning is going really well. Guys, let's quickly talk about this, okay? If you're joining me, could you just type on the comment section, say hello, and let me know where you're joining from? I'd love to know. It's actually my first live on YouTube. Yeah, on YouTube. And guys, I just really want to thank you so much. Yeah, for all your engagements on the community, your likes, your shares. I mean, they mean the whole world, right? Thank you, thank you, thank you, guys. Oh, so okay. So I just want to talk about quickly. I want to talk about yeah, I can see somebody's joining me. Just say hello in the comment section and I know where you're joining from. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I hope your day is going well. I hope your day is going well. Okay. So I just love us to quickly talk about the new Canadian immigration policy that was released um so yesterday now, yeah, yesterday morning. Okay. Yeah. It's not good news. It's actually not good news, but in the coming days we have to see which way to go. But it's not good news. So for those of my subscribers who are doing a Canadian application at the moment, oh hi Are. Hi. Thank you for joining. Thank you so much for joining. And Happy New Year, because I suppose we're talking for the first time in the new year. It's actually my first live on YouTube. Yeah. So kind of that mixed feeling, kind of excited. Um okay, so just quickly I'd love to talk about the new Canadian policy, okay, the immigration policy that was just recently released yesterday by IRCC, okay, how that applies to us. Well, everything about that release is definitely not good news, okay? It's not good news, but then it's been released and we have to know how we can re-strategize. Are there any things we need to do? Do they apply to us? And if they do, how do they apply to us? And if we're making travel plans in 2024, how what do we need to do to step up our game, to improve our chances of getting this thing done? Okay, so it basically says that I just read from the screen here. So it says IRCC. Uh, so it says the Honorable Minister of Immigration announced yesterday, says today anyway, but that was yesterday, that the government of Canada will set an intake cap on international student permit applications to stabilize new growth for a period of 2 years. For 2024, the cap is expected to result in approximately 360 approved study permits, a decrease of 35% which from 2023. Okay, so basically, what that statement means is that they are going to be reducing the number of student permits that were issued from that of 2023. Okay, so by 35%. So let's say 10 study permits were approved last year. Okay, so this year we have about 6.5 that will be approved. So that's not good news, right? That means it becomes even more competitive. Now, what does that mean in very simple terms? That means that a lot more visas are going to be refused, okay? The immigration policies are going to tighten up. People are going to, do their best to make applications, even when they make clean applications, go the extra miles, but very likely at the end of the day, they may still come out with a refusal because obviously the immigration offices would have to work with the government to achieve these numbers. So it's not good news for the applicants. It's not good news for people who are applying for visas. And I would say that this year seems like also that there's going to be a lot of appeal. So people are probably going to spend a lot more money. There's going to be a lot of appeal because people are going to receive refusals, obviously, especially when they know that they have done so much, to make a clean application, right? They feel like they're eligible, they feel like they meet the criteria, yet they get a refusal. So a lot of people are going to go for appeals, go through lawyers, get immigration lawyers to help them channel their cause. Okay, so this is what this basically means. Okay, so in the spirit of fairness, individual, provincial, and territorial caps have been established. Okay, weighted by population, which will result in much more significant decreases in provinces where the international student population has seen the most unsustainable growth. The study permit renewals will not be impacted. Those pursuing master's and doctoral degrees and elementary and secondary education are not included in the cap. Okay, currently, study permit holders will not be affected. So if you already have a study permit, if your study permit is already issued, this does not concern you or will not affect you. Okay, and as well, so people would also have to be intentional about where they make their application. So in those kind of cities where people get flooded, where people like to run to those colleges for some reason, maybe because those colleges are maybe cheaper or something, where there's mostly housing crisis. Those are those kind of cities where you need to avoid because those kind of cities are competitive and they're capping as well on them. So the government will be putting capping on them because they are the cities that are experiencing more housing crisis. The government will also put in checks to make sure that lesser people, lesser students um, are being admitted into colleges in those kind of cities. So you also want to look at areas that are very, very competitive, that are very flooded, like Ontario, for example. You want to perhaps be smarter when you're making your applications, okay? So it says IRCC will allocate a portion of the cap to each province and territory, who will then distribute the allocation among their designated learning institutions. So to implement a cap, as of January 22, 2024, that was yesterday, every study permit application submitted to IRCC will also require an attestation letter from a province or territory. Okay, so provinces and territories are expected to establish a process for issuing attestation letters to students by no later than March 31st, 2024. So these temporary measures will be in place for 2 years, and the number of new student permit applications that will be accepted in 2025 will be reassessed. Okay, so after a year, this was going to be reassessed. During this period, the government of Canada will continue to work with provinces and territories, designated learning institutions, and national education stakeholders on determining long-term sustainable levels of international students and ensuring post-secondary institutions are able to provide adequate level of student housing. Okay, so starting from September 1, 2024, the postgraduate work permit program, we are changing the eligibility criteria. So you all know that students in Canada, students who come to Canada, overseas students who come into Canada after their period of study, they do get what we call the PGWD. So there's the postgraduate work permit, okay, PGWD, okay. And what basically it is a period of time that they're able to work. Okay, they're able to find jobs in Canada and able to take on those jobs. Okay, and then subsequently, find their way to residency path. Right. So now the government is making changes to the eligibility criteria of students being able to get a PGWP after their studies. And so it says, so starting September 1, 2024, international students who begin a study program that is part of a curriculum licensing arrangement will no longer be eligible for a PGWP, okay, upon graduation. Under curriculum licensing agreement, students physically attend a private college that has been licensed to deliver the curriculum of an associated public college. These programs have been or have seen significant growth in attracting international students in recent years, though they have less oversight than public colleges, and they act as a loophole with regards to postgraduate work permit. Now, graduates of master's and other short graduate level programs will soon be eligible to apply for a 3-year work permit. Okay. Under current criteria, the length of PGWD is based solely on the length of individual study program, hindering master's graduates by limiting the amount of time they have to gain work experience and potentially transition to a permanent residency. Now, what does this whole thing basically mean? Okay, so basically, it is not good news for people who are going to private colleges. Okay, so they're trying to say people who go to schools where if you're joining in, just I can see two people are joining me in. Just say hello in the comment section. Say hello in the comment section, okay? So what does this basically mean, right, guys? So this is just basically saying if I were going to Canada, okay, I would go for public colleges, okay? So this is bad news for people who are taking on private colleges, okay? Because what this new policy is saying is that they would not likely be able to get a postgraduate work permit after their study. Okay, and then the new plan is saying that they're trying to put plans in place to give students a 3-year work permit after their graduations. Currently, we all know that they get a postgraduate work permit depending on the number of years they have invested. Okay. Okay, sorry about that, guys. So they get um a postgraduate work permit depending on how much time they've invested in their um study. Okay, so but the government is saying when this whole thing comes into effect, people will be getting a work permit of 3 years after their masters to give them a good ample of time to be able to work in the Canadian system, get good Canadian experience, and be able to work their path to residency. Okay. And then in the weeks ahead, open work permits will only be available to spouses of international students in master's and doctoral programs. Now, the spouses of international students in other levels of study, including undergraduate and college programs, will no longer be eligible. Now, this is bad news, right? Especially for people going for college degrees. So they basically want people who are going for MSc programs and PhD programs. So these are the only people who will be able to bring in their dependents. This is not good news, right, guys? Because before now, people would have a lot of options. If people either go for, college diplomas or stuff like that, and what either of the programs you're going for, you're able to bring in your family, your dependents, your spouse, your wife, your husband, your children. But they are saying moving forward, when this policy goes into effect, only people who are in the master's program or PhD programs are eligible to bring in their families. Okay, so this is actually not good news, right? This is actually kind of the UK approach. Okay, and I say, um, yeah. So overall, it's not good news, right? The thing is, we all know that Canada has experienced or has been experiencing housing crisis. But I mean, the housing crisis has been there in fairness. And in my opinion, I think one of the things that have actually contributed to this housing crisis as well, it's not necessarily the immigrant international students. Yes, it could be part of it, but to be very honest, these are a very, in my opinion, useful population because a lot of them come into the country, get a job, pay their taxes, and and even their spouses, their dependents come in and take up roles, and are a good contributors or good contributors to the labor market, right? So I think that they are a good contribution or a good contributor to the economy, right? For example, we know that Canada has received a lot of people as refugees from Ukraine with the current crisis in Ukraine. And I think, to be very honest, they have received a very huge number that I think would contribute very strongly to the to the housing crisis. And I think also that a lot of people, a lot of institutions, factors, organizations, like even colleges, um, and even house owners, okay, a lot of people inflate houses because they know internationals are coming, and for no reason inflate houses. And a lot of colleges are not putting efforts to make sure that um there's good community support, okay, that there's housing, housing, and facilities being provided in the communities that will accommodate the number of students they're taking in. They're all just interested in their money, obviously their business, bringing in students, especially private colleges, right? So overall, yeah, while I may agree that there must be some element of truth that, obviously international students who come in as migrants may, but I don't think that's a reasonable fraction. And I don't think just taking off the chances of students coming in would solve this problem. I would rather think that, that's my opinion anyway, my personal opinion. I would rather think that maybe the government trying to regulate these organizations, schools, making sure that they are putting appropriate facilities in place, to correspond or to match the number of intake of students that they are taking, would be a better approach to address this problem, would be a more sustainable approach, I think. Um, that's what I think, right? So, guys, overall, this is not good news, okay? But so moving forward, what do we take from here? So, like I said, in the coming weeks, or in the coming months, okay, this year, immigration wise, is going to be really tough, Canada wise. Okay, so I said in the coming months, we will continue to work to provide clear pathways to permanent residency for students with in demand skills and explore new measures to better transition international students to the labor force. Excuse me. And the cost of living requirement for study permit applicants was updated to better reflect the true cost of living in Canada and help prevent student vulnerability and exploitation. So since December 1, 2023, post-secondary designated learning institutions have been required to confirm every letter of acceptance submitted by an applicant outside Canada directly with IRCC. This enhanced verification process protects prospective students from fraud and ensures that student permits are issued based only on genuine letters of acceptance. In 2024, we intend to implement targeted pilots aimed at helping underrepresented cohorts of international students pursue their studies in Canada. So, I mean, that's the whole story here. To be very honest, and it just means that immigration, um, getting your visas approved will be quite tough. Okay, will be quite tough. And when this policy is implemented, okay, people who are going to colleges in Canada, people who are going for programs outside MSc, master's programs, and PhD programs will not be able to migrate their dependents, just like the UK approach, okay? Will not be able to migrate their dependents, their spouses or children to Canada, okay? However, people who currently have their study permit would not be affected by these new policies because they already, have their policies and are already in Canada. Okay, so overall, for international students, okay, I think that if you were putting in 8 over 10 work in your application, this is the time to put in 10 over 10 or even 12 over 10. You need to go out of your way to make sure to put high your chances of getting your visas approved. And in the coming months or in the coming weeks, we're going to see which way these policies are going. Okay, if you I don't have many people on the live, and that's okay. I know a lot of people will be watching the live afterwards. If you do have questions, let me know on the comment section, and I would be very happy to answer your questions. If you have questions, put them up on the comment section, and I'll be happy to answer your questions. And if not, I will quickly leave the live, okay? If not, I'll quickly leave the live. But if you have questions, put them up on the comment section. I love to do more live. Tell me what you think about the live. Do you think it's good? I think it's more interactive. Yeah. Yeah. I think we'll be able to talk on real time, know ourselves even better. And yeah, I think it's great. I think it is. Okay, so let me know what you think about the live section. Is this something you think we should do more often? And you know, put time, put scheduled times that people know, and they come on live and they're able to ask questions directly, and I can answer them. Sometimes my emails are quite scary. People write a lot of questions, you know, and you kind of don't find the time to actually go back to every single question. So I think a lot more of the lives would do a lot of good. Yeah. So let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. Should we do more of the lives? Let me also know what you think. What's your thoughts on the subject matter? The life is really nice. Absolutely. I think so. I agree so, right? I know this is it's just my first time, and I've only scheduled that in the night, so it's very, very, very possible people were sleeping in the night and they wake up and they go for their businesses. That's very understandable, but I think that it's something that I really want to be doing a lot more. For that way, I can connect more with my community. I can get to know people a lot more one on one, understand where you've been from. That way, it kind of guides me as well on the people of my community, what their problems would be like, and it helps me make valuable contents, right? Okay. So, yeah, that's everything. It's unfortunate. This is bad news, but I mean, we have to talk about the bad and the good as well. It's only when you know about something that you're able to go back, and if it's something that you're working on or that you're interested in, and say, how how am I going to go around this, right? So that's the thing. But I mean, the news is not a good one, immigration wise. Yeah, because we want to have so many visas approved. We want to have people actualizing their relocation dreams. That's our assignment. Okay. So but this is kind of going to make it strict, a little bit strict for Canadian applicants, but we will get there, right? In the coming weeks, we will see how this will go around. But then overall, the truth is people would have to step up their games in the visa application. Okay. If you have to put in more work, more effort, more diligence, more, you have to pay attention to even more details to get your visa approved. Okay. And then you have to be even more intentional when you're making your applications as to the kind of city you're applying to, the kind of college, the kind of programs. You have to do more check now before you apply. You can't just be applying randomly to schools. Okay. All right, guys. I see I don't have questions. I have only Are here. And Are, thank you so much for joining. If you're watching this video, I know a lot of people are going to watch this video after the live. Please write your questions if you have questions and let me know what you think. Also, let me know what you think about the live. Do you think it is something we should welcome in this community? I think so. I think it's great. Okay. By the time people begin to know that I come live, I think it's something that would be lovely. Okay. And that would help us to connect even more. Okay. And yeah, I think it's good. So overall, have a great day, guys. And I hope the rest of your day is productive and fruitful. Okay. Now remember to stay out of trouble. I always say that. Okay. It's only when you're out of trouble you're able to chase your dreams. So stay out of trouble, guys, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye.